Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever felt like you're just, going through the motions, maybe caught in that cycle of stress, anxiety, feeling unfulfilled?
That hamster wheel feeling.
Exactly. Well, what if a simple, ancient technique could fundamentally rewire your mind and body in just 10 days?
Leading to unexpected clarity, peace, maybe even physical changes. It sounds pretty remarkable.
It really does. Our source today dives deep into one person's intensely personal journey. He went to a 10-day meditation boot camp,
Right, expecting maybe some stress relief, the usual sort of thing.
but instead he experienced what he calls an awakening to the fundamentals of life and existence.
Yeah.
Quite a claim.
It is, and we're drawing from Manas Chopra's own account, his book, The Equanimous Mind. He actually attended a Vipassana course.
And the amazing thing is he kept meticulous notes. We've got access to those insights. Imagine getting these profound views into your own mind.
Seeing the world differently, maybe changing habits you thought were set in stone.
Yeah, all through a structured, silent retreat. And we'll cover it, all the surprising physical stuff, the deep emotional shifts, everything.
And crucially, this deep dive isn't just about what happened to him. We're looking at the why and the how.
Yes. How did these changes actually stick? How did they last beyond those 10 days?
We'll explore how even really ingrained patterns, those knee-jerk reactions we all have, can apparently be tackled right at the root for lasting change.
So let's start at the beginning. His motivation. Why did he even go?
Oh, he was a management consultant partner, high-flying career,
Oh, I can imagine the stress levels.
Exactly. So he was looking for stress relief. He actually found it kind of funny when the registrar asked if his job was stressful.
Like understatement of the year, probably.
Right. And what's interesting is the gap between what he expected and what he got.
How so?
He thought there'd be some kind of executive curriculum, tailored for corporate burnout.
Ah, like a premium package?
Should have. But the executive part was just, nicer rooms and laundry service. The core practice, the meditation itself, that was identical for everyone, which really says something, doesn't it?
It does. That fundamental change isn't like exclusive.
Yeah.
It's universal.
Precisely. And this leads right into a key rule of the camp: total surrender.
Right, this is where it gets intense. All electronics. Gone. Reading materials? Nope. Writing. Forbidden. For 10 days straight.
Wow. For someone he described as switched on at all times, that must have felt drastic.
He said it was like losing a vital limb. And it was all based on an honor system, too.
So the temptation must have been huge.
Oh, definitely. He really wrestled with it initially. But fighting that urge, that ingrained need to be connected, that was actually the first step.
The beginning of the surrender. Makes sense.
So it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What does happen when you strip away all those external distractions?
Well, the very first exercise gives us a clue. Anapana meditation. Sounds simple.
Just observing your natural breath. That's it.
But he found it surprisingly hard. Yet almost immediately, these unprompted insights started bubbling up.
Yeah, it wasn't gradual. Yeah. By day 3, he called it a hard reboot of his mind.
A hard reboot.
Spontaneous realizations just started popping up. Things like needing to heal old childhood wounds, recognizing he was projecting his own past angst onto other people.
Oof, that's a tough one to see.
And letting go of constantly seeking approval, building a reputation just out of insecurity.
So it wasn't some, floaty, hypnotic state.
Not at all. He described it as becoming hyper-vigilant, but in terms of self-awareness, really seeing clearly.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, it just highlights how powerful that inner observation can be once you quiet the noise.
He started questioning everything, his values, his motivations.
Realizing that all the external stuff, the success, the validation, it wasn't actually bringing him happiness inside.
He uses that image of peeling an onion layer by layer.
That's a great analogy for that kind of deep self-discovery, unraveling all that conditioning.
Okay, so day 4 arrives, and this is when they introduce Vipassana itself, the main technique.
Right. Observing sensations objectively, systematically, across the entire body, not just the breath anymore.
But just before he dove into that, he hit a wave of doubt, a big one.
Oh, about what?
About his newfound decision to give up alcohol.
Ah.
Apparently he used to take it to a whole new level, lavish parties being the go-to guy for enjoying spirits.
So a big part of his social identity, perhaps? And professional, too.
Exactly. He was genuinely worried. What would his friends think? His clients? Could he even stick to it?
That makes sense. It's one thing to have insights in isolation, another to think about the real-world implications.
Totally. But then came this period he called Compassionate recall.
Compassionate recall.
Tell me more.
His mind started cycling through past painful interactions, arguments, difficult moments.
Which could be just re-traumatizing, couldn't it?
You'd think so, but he said it was different. He felt like another person in the movie watching it unfold.
Ah, detachment. Objectivity.
Yes, and crucially, he started feeling what the other person might have felt in those situations. Wow, real empathy kicking in.
A powerful sense of it. Even for people who'd caused him pain. He saw their actions often came from their own fear or anger.
Understanding the root cause in others, that's profound.
And it wasn't just about others. He felt deep remorse for times he'd been unkind, especially giving tough feedback. He realized the how mattered just as much as the what.
That's a huge shift in perspective, focusing on the delivery, not just the message.
And all this actually fueled his resolve for the next challenge, the Equanimous sittings.
The sittings of strong determination. I've heard about these.
Yeah, sitting perfectly still for a full hour. No adjusting, no shifting, intense pain, knees, lower back.
An hour. Without moving at all. He must have thought that was impossible.
He did. He absolutely did. But then he discovered this incredible mind over matter thing.
How so?
His chronic pain. It actually started to subside when he stopped focusing on it, stopped reacting to it.
Just by observing it without judgment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He realized his brain was essentially regulating the perception of pain. It wasn't just a raw signal.
Fascinating. And that's where his scientific background came in handy, wasn't it? Trying to figure out the neurobiology.
Right, he started thinking, if all sensations, even intense pain, are just transient, just passing waves.
Then how do we train our unconscious minds to truly accept that? To not automatically resist or crave?
That understanding became a key. It helped him unlock things, like how someone like Mahatma Gandhi could face aggression with such equanimity.
Because the ego wasn't getting hurt by those passing stimuli. It wasn't reacting.
Exactly. And beyond the pain, he noticed other physical things changing too.
Like what?
His sleep needs dropped significantly. He felt fully rested on just 4 hours sometimes.
Wow, even as a chronic asthmatic, that's unusual.
Very. He also felt his general mind-body coordination improved. He even started liking papaya.
Papaya, what's the story there?
He'd always disliked it, but realized it was just a prejudice, a mental block. Once he observed the actual sensation without the judgment, he found he enjoyed it.
That's a small but telling example of overcoming ingrained reactions.
And his memory recall got sharper. All this led him to grasp what he called the laws of emotional physics.
Emotional physics, I like that. What did he mean?
Basically, that how we react to things is what determines whether we feel anxious or calm. The power is in the reaction, not the trigger itself.
So our internal state is fundamentally in our hands. It's not just dictated by outside events.
Precisely. Resisting sensations, craving sensations, that's what creates and perpetuates misery.
Whereas equanimity, just observing calmly, allows them to arise and pass away naturally.
And having that intellectual idea confirmed by direct physical experience, that was incredibly liberating for him.
So moving into the later days of the retreat, the transformation seems to be deepening significantly.
Oh, absolutely. By day 7, he's talking about a mind metamorphosis, like opening a third eye.
A third eye, meaning heightened perception.
Yeah, a big jump in mental function, creativity. He even started spontaneously composing poetry, which he hadn't done before.
That's amazing. The mind freeing up resources, perhaps.
That's how he saw it, and he felt these changes were indelibly irreversible.
Why irreversible? What made him so sure?
Because they weren't just ideas he'd read or been told. They came from self-validated first principles, things he'd experienced directly in his own body and mind.
That makes a huge difference, doesn't it? Moving from intellectual belief to embodied knowing.
Definitely. He felt his mind freed from all that background noise, worrying about the past, planning the future, gained this hyper-effective focus.
Able to be fully present.
And he saw his old way of judging people based on his likes and dislikes was totally flawed.
Rooted in ego, not reality.
Right. Which led to what he called a complete 180-degree shift towards compassion and just neutral acceptance of others.
Can you give an example of how that showed up?
Yeah, a really concrete one. He remembered this argument he'd had before the camp with his father and wife about flooring choices for a new house.
Domestic disputes, the classic stress test.
Totally. Before, he was super attached to his opinion, ready to battle for his preferred flooring.
Standard procedure for many of us.
But thinking about it after the camp experience, he just felt, it's all the same to me. Harmony was suddenly way more important than getting his way.
That's a tangible shift.
He even suggested they name the house Samatha.
Which means?
It's Hindi for equanimity.
Perfect. That really shows how these deep internal shifts start playing out in everyday life, in relationships.
It does, and it ties into the core Vipassana idea of vikars, these mental defilements like anger, fear, greed.
Being purged, essentially.
Yes, purged and replaced by panna, which is true wisdom or knowledge gained through self-experience.
The teacher had a great analogy for this, didn't he? About reactions.
You did. He said an insult or provocation is like a spark.
Okay.
If your mind is full of conditioned reactions, anger, resentment, it's like a fuel tank full of gasoline, the spark hits. Boom.
Instant explosion.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But if you've cultivated equanimity through practice, your mind is like cold water.
Yeah.
The spark hits.
No, nothing happens. It's just doused.
Exactly. And the real question for us, for you listening, is how do we cultivate more of that cold water within ourselves?
It's about learning the difference between action and reaction.
Yes. He distinguished between kriya, which is purposeful action,
Done with a clear, balanced mind.
and pratikriya, which is just harmful, blind reaction.
Yeah.
Vipassana teaches you to act with an equanimous mind,
Yeah.
balanced objective.
Not just react on autopilot.
And the big realization for him, the huge breakthrough, was the choice to become anxious about life situations was completely and solely in my own hands.
Taking full ownership. That's powerful.
After all this inner work, this purification, they introduced Vipassana,
Loving kindness meditation.
right, where you consciously dedicate time to wishing well-being for everyone, all beings.
And significantly, it's practiced after establishing some equanimity.
Yeah, you need that stable base first. It shows this outward flow of compassion that naturally arises once you've done the inner clearing work.
It's a really holistic path, isn't it? From self-awareness to inner peace to wishing well for others.
Absolutely. And as the 10 days were wrapping up, his mind was already turning towards returning home.
How did he feel about going back to normal life?
He actually started planning to write the book, this book we're discussing, right then and there.
To share the experience.
Yeah, he felt this powerful urge to share what he called this gift. He realized his journey wasn't just for him anymore. It had a bigger purpose.
And day 10 itself brought another wave of emotion, didn't it?
It did. He described a tearful liberation, a really deep moment of insight.
What did he realize?
He saw, with painful clarity, how he had unknowingly made the lives of many people a living hell whenever he was anxious.
Wow. Seeing his own impact so directly.
Yeah, because when he was anxious, he'd wrongly perceived them as the cause of his stress, his problems.
Instead of recognizing the anxiety was internal, generated within himself.
Exactly. And this profound repentance, this deep regret, just cemented his desire to share the technique, to help others avoid causing that kind of suffering.
That's incredibly self-aware. Realizing the source of the anxiety was inside, not outside. That's a game changer.
Huge. And the teacher's parting advice was practical.
About maintaining the practice.
Yes. Practice for an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening, daily.
That sounds like a big commitment, 2 hours a day.
It does. But the teacher explained it would actually create time. It naturally leads to needing less sleep, becoming more focused and productive during the day.
Ah, so it pays for itself in a way. Interesting.
So what about the long haul? Did it stick?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Well, the epilogue covers over 10 years later. And yes, he was still practicing Vipassana, annually on retreats, and daily.
10 years.
Yeah.
That's impressive consistency.
The initial, maybe, euphoria settled down, he said, into a more moderate yet transformative level. Still profound, but integrated.
Sustainable change, not just a peak experience.
And the tangible results. He stayed alcohol-free, maintained a vegetarian diet,
And the asthma.
significantly reduced his medication. He reported experiencing no attacks, even when getting minimal sleep, which is remarkable for a chronic condition.
That's a really significant physical benefit. What else changed in his outlook?
He stopped obsessively following things like astrological remedies.
Oh, why?
He saw it as trying to control the future with something other than his own actions and mindset. He became much less anxious about health scares or career setbacks.
Just having a greater perspective on all life situations, as he put it.
Exactly. It shifted his entire, well, everything. Mindset, outlook, sense of self-worth, body, speech, behavior, the whole package.
It sounds like it really permeated every aspect of his life. How about communication?
That changed too. More constructive language, he stopped swearing completely, less bragging, more humility.
Little shifts that add up.
And he really understood the importance of dana, charitable giving, and seva, voluntary service.
Why were those important?
He saw them as essential, partly to pay forward the gift he felt he'd received, but also to reinforce his own practice in equanimity.
Giving back strengthens the inner state. Makes sense.
Even with his busy schedule, he found ways to do service on weekends. And he was deeply impressed by the global Vipassana pagoda in Mumbai.
What struck him about it?
It reinforced for him that the technique itself is purely scientific. It's about self-observation, universal laws of nature, not tied to any specific religion or dogma.
That's a crucial point for many people, right? It's accessibility, regardless of your beliefs.
Absolutely. And he even got practical tips for meditating anywhere.
Like on planes or in hotel rooms.
Yeah, turning those potentially annoying environments into, as he called them, luxurious individual meditation suites.
I love that reframing. It shows how adaptable the practice can be, even in a busy modern life.
So even when life threw curveballs, tough events, stressful work travel, the setbacks were different.
How so?
He said they were noticeably modest. Recovery was relatively rapid, and his baseline level of well-being was just consistently much higher than my pre-Vipassana baseline.
A higher baseline. That's a great way to put it. More resilient.
He even mentioned his perception of chaotic Indian traffic changing.
No way. How?
He started finding a musical appeal in all the honking and felt compassion for aggressive drivers instead of anger.
Okay, finding musical appeal in traffic honking, that is serious equanimity.
Right. It really exemplifies that lasting balance the practice fosters.
Although even his teacher apparently kept him grounded.
Yeah, apparently the teacher acknowledged his progress, but playfully said he still needed to balance his pendulum in the middle a little.
A reminder that it's always an ongoing journey, never fully arrived.
Exactly. But the author himself felt his RPM, his internal revolutions per minute, had increased dramatically.
Right.
He became much more productive, more effective, but simultaneously more peaceful, not trading one for the other.
That's the ideal combination, isn't it? High performance without the burnout.
And the cognitive benefits were striking too. His writing speed, for example, shot up.
How?
He could recall details from years ago vividly, as if they just happened. Words just flowed effortlessly. He felt he broke his personal sound barrier of hand-mind coordination.
Wow. And he attributed that to
having a mind free of continuous mental chatter, all that freed up bandwidth.
Makes perfect sense. Less internal noise, more clarity and focus.
And here's a fascinating final observation he made. The less attached he became to his own views and opinions,
Yes.
the more other people actually started to value his input and perspective.
That's counterintuitive but powerful. Letting go of the need to be right makes your contributions more impactful. A real testament to the cognitive and interpersonal benefits.
Absolutely. So the final thought maybe for you listening is this. If this kind of profound, lasting transformation, mental, emotional, physical, cognitive, is genuinely possible through diligent internal work,
What impossible changes might you unlock by exploring the deeper workings of your own mind?
wow, what an incredible deep dive that was. Just tracking his journey.
It really is something, isn't it? From that initial struggle with pain, just sitting still.
Right. To then finding genuine compassion, even remorse for how he treated people. It really shows the potential for change inside all of us.
It really does. And his story is such a powerful reminder, I think. The path of self-discovery. It has ups and downs, for sure.
No doubt.
But that consistent commitment, just showing up to understand your own inner world, can lead to this sustained state of, well, equanimity and purpose.
And it impacts everything, doesn't it? Every part of life.
Every facet. It certainly gives you something to think about.
It really does. I mean, if 10 days of silence and observation could shift someone's entire outlook, their health, even their creativity so dramatically.
What hidden potential might be sitting inside your mind, just waiting for you to uncover it?
Yeah. Which leads to maybe a practical question for you listening.
What's one small step you could take this week? Just one thing to maybe cultivate a bit more of that equanimous mind in your own life.
Doesn't have to be a 10-day retreat, right?
Not at all. Maybe it's just taking a moment for some mindful breathing when you feel stressed.
Or consciously choosing to respond thoughtfully instead of just reacting automatically.
Or even just noticing a physical sensation, an itch, an ache, without immediately judging it or needing it to go away, just observing.
Small steps. We hope this deep dive has sparked some curiosity, maybe give you some valuable insights to chew on.
We hope so too. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us on the deep dive.